Celtic 3-0 victors today over Motherwell. It was quite a routine win for Celtic, but definitely a couple of talking points. The first one that I would throw at you, Swan, is Luke McCowan. How did you think he got on today? Obviously got a goal.
I think it was just a continuation of Luke McCowan's Celtic career to date, to be honest with you. He's seamlessly moved into anything he's been asked to do. Today was another first for him, getting that first start, and just looked as though he'd been there for 5-10 years, no problem. Eased into the situation, and I just think it's just part of the course for him now at Celtic. He's looked like a Celtic player since he was signed, and nothing that happened today would change your thought process on that.
He kind of, and I mean, this is by no means a criticism of Arne Engles, who I think has shown flashes that he's like a Rolls Royce of a player, but McCowan's definitely impressed me more since they both came in.
Yeah, different styles and different players, and I mean, I think we're very quick in this country when something goes slightly awry for a couple of games that you start to maybe forget. I mean, I said on this Hotline Live that I thought Engles was smooth as silk when I first saw him. I think he's got power, he's got strength that's Celtic need in the Champions League. I think you saw that in Atalanta, the ability to be, to stand up to the physical side of it. Michael's obviously at the game, and he made the point that they were all big lads. The Atalanta, we need that physical presence in there. Now, I'm not saying McCowan wouldn't have been able to do it, but Engles did a shift, even though he wasn't brilliant on the ball in Italy. He did a real shift, and Brendan Rodgers alluded to that. And I think the key for Celtic is the ability that you can take an £11 million player and set him on the bench and give him a rest, and you have the quality of McCowan to come in. But like I say, every time he stepped onto the pitch since he signed for Celtic, McCowan, he's looked right at home. Come into the Rangers game straight away, just eased into it, no problem. And he just looks completely and utterly at home.
What about in the first half? Celtic saw a second goal ruled out with Daizen Maeda. It was a kind of curious instant. Did you think it was a penalty? I'll put it differently. I thought it was a penalty. I thought he was kind of pushing behind. I know it would have been a little bit soft, but there's no reason why he would go down there otherwise.
Well, I'm going to caveat this by saying, unfortunately, I wasn't in the comfort of my home and didn't have 56 replays. So I've seen it once. And it looked to me that he was being grappled as he made his way into the box. And then I'm wondering why he's going down in that situation unless he's been nudged over. What happens then afterwards if the ball ricochets against his arm? That's a result of him going down. Yeah. I couldn't see any reason at the time for going down because it looked as though he was getting in. So that was my first thought, actually, that this could be a penalty. But obviously with the ball rolling into the net, it seemed to cause all sorts of confusion. Everybody stopped. Players stopped. It looked to me like the referee even stopped as if I'm not really sure what's going on here.
I'm
looking at everybody else and I would probably need to brush up slightly on my VAR rules. I'm not sure, but I thought the VAR could recommend a penalty, but then again, because David Dickinson didn't give it, does that mean it wasn't clear and obvious that it was a penalty? I was sitting trying to work out myself. As I say, I got one look at it, and it looked to me like he was being grappled as he made his way into the box. I couldn't figure out why else he'd gone down, but
yeah.
I think maybe I might watch a television replay when I get home from this fridge, and he'd say it differently. I'll defer to those who managed to see it a few times on the telly.
One guy not playing for Celtic who I wanted to get your take on, Swanee, was Lennon Miller, because particularly in the first half he caused Celtic a lot of problems. He hit the woodwork twice. Being there in person today, did he stand out for you?
It was very simple. I mean, listen, he stood out all season, and the ability is just outstanding. We've all seen that. We all know it. Did he stand out? I don't think any Motherwell player stood out really after they started well. Celtic took a wee bit of time just to get a foothold in the game, but once Celtic got the first goal and got control, they pretty much dominated it. I mean, you could see the little flashes of class that the kids got. I mean, we've been seeing that all season. But I think today he just got overrun. I think the second half, they just got overrun in there. Motherwell. Celtic were just excellent.
And what about Swanee? Probably the biggest talking point, I think, fair to say, is the challenge from Liam Gordon on Adam Ida in the second half. It was funny because see when Gordon was given his red card, he looked like it was an injustice. He looked raging about it, but I thought it was an absolute shocker.
Again, haven't seen any television replays. Don't know just at the time. But you can. I often find in these situations player reactions. I think it was Nicholas Kuhn. He was up in arms immediately, as if something was badly awry. Spoke to Stuart Kettlewell after the game. He thought it was harsh. So, again, I can't argue with him having not seen it again, but it looked a bad one at the time.
I definitely, honestly, when you see it again, Swanee, I'd be stunned if you don't think it's a red card. It was really. Yeah, I don't think he's met.
Because from speaking to people afterwards, that was the general. From I'd seen it, basically said, "Oh yeah, 100%."
I don't think he's meant to do him, but he's just mistimed it, and he could have really done a lot of damage.
No, and it looked to me at first glance like he kind of left the ground as well.
Aye.
Caught on the way down. If you do that, you're in big trouble. So I wasn't sure exactly how it was, whether he caught him clean on the ankle or whether he caught him on the calf or the foot. I couldn't see it exactly from high up in the stand, but he'd obviously been caught. And like I say, player reactions tell you a bit. Nicholas Kuhn was quite close and he was fuming, so you kind of knew something was amiss.
Aye, absolutely. And Cameron Carter-Vickers come back as well. He come on in the second half for Liam Scales. I kind of get the impression that although Scales has been absolutely immense this season for Celtic, he's been brilliant, and I'm not saying he's likely to get dropped anytime soon, but I do think that perhaps Rodgers sees the Trusty and Carter-Vickers as the two kind of partnership going forward.
That's an interesting one. That's an interesting one. Certainly Trusty's left-sided, which would make you think that he'd had him earmarked to play alongside Carter-Vickers. So the problem with that is Liam Scales is just growing and growing and growing and getting better every time you see him. So it comes back to the situation where you've got 60 odd games in a season, and it has what we've seen over the last almost 6 weeks with Cameron Carter-Vickers not available. At some point, someone else is going to get a calf or someone else is going to have a niggle. And I think the key thing for Celtic this season, as was shown today with Callum McGregor not having to play, you don't have to push guys. If there be niggles or re-strains, they're able to bring in quality replacements, and listen, without being disrespectful of the boys themselves, Gustav Lagerbielke and Mike Narocki never really looked like they were up to it last year. Stephen Welsh had chances as well. When you're bringing Austin Trusty in or you're bringing Liam Scales in to play alongside Cameron Carter-Vickers, or if you're bringing Cameron Carter-Vickers in, you're getting quality in there. So that's what Brendan Rodgers has been looking for. Listen, look at Atalanta. Cameron Carter-Vickers isn't available. Does Gustav Lagerbielke or Mike Narocki or Stephen Welsh play the way Austin Trusty did?
No chance.
There's your answer.
Without being harsh.
LAB. I know the back line is the one area where a manager would like to keep it consistent. You can change the sort of front six if you like and mix and match them, but you try and keep the back four solid. But I think in this instance there might be a case to manoeuvre them around a little bit and give them all chances.
It's actually testament, Swanee, to Celtic's strength and depth that we're 9 minutes into this chat, and I hadn't even mentioned that Callum McGregor was missing today. His first league game that he's missed, I think, since April. On the face of it, you'd say, it's a big miss for Celtic. They didn't really feel it today. But Celtic will be hoping he's back sooner rather than later.
Of course, Brendan Rodgers suggested after the game it wasn't. He didn't think it was too serious.